Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a Q&A. So I put out on Instagram if anybody would be interested in me doing a Q&A, and I got a lot of really positive feedback because I thought it would be really fun to share and answer any questions you have about Japan and my crazy adventure going there. My first question from iHunits on Instagram is, why did I decide to move to Japan? And that is a good question. I love Japan. I had the most wonderful experiences in Japan on the both exchange programs I went on. I went on an exchange program in high school and I went on one in college, and I loved both experiences. I actually talked about it in the video that should have gone up before this one about why it is I'm moving to Japan. If you'd like to check that out, I'll put like a little linky link right there. So yeah, I decided that I was not done with Japan by any means. I love it there. I love everything about Japan. I love communicating in Japanese. I love being able to travel to historical sites and really be able to connect with this country that I have so much passion for, and it's just such a wonderful experience for me every time I go there. I love traveling. Traveling is a huge thing for me, and I could go on. That's like the general, that's like the top layer, the top soil and the garden. Like, you could dig down, there's a lot, and I'll definitely be sure to share all of it with everyone when I move, because I'm so excited. Next question. I got a couple questions from Lucy Yarn Pocket. Hi Lucy. Hi. And so let's take a look. First question was, how did you first get so interested and passionate about Japan? So I kind of bumped into Japan by accident. I'm gonna be honest, as a kid growing up, I loved watching Pokemon and anime and stuff, but I didn't actually know that was Japanese at all. Like, I honestly thought that Ash Ketchum was just eating like strawberry-filled donuts every day and not rice cakes. Like, when they translated that over, they were like, donuts. So I had no idea. I think I first figured out in like middle school or so that this media that I was enjoying was connected to Japan, which was my first exposure to the language of Japanese. I started watching shows in the Japanese language, and that piqued my interest. I've always loved language. I have been passionate about Spanish since kindergarten. Of course, now I don't remember any of it because I filled my brain with Japanese. And, go figure, I can only stick one other language in there. So my best friend and I in high school were joking, and we were like, yeah, we'd like to go to Japan sometime. And we did. And I think I fell in love with it actually being there. I think that's what really changed me. I think really my year abroad there in college really was like the game changer for me. Like, I'd always loved it and I loved the language and everything, but I think my passion, the real honest to goodness passion for it really came out that year. And that's how I just became to the point that I'm like, I'm moving there and I'm stoked about it. Like, that's where that came from, was that year abroad was just, it was incredible. I can't recommend college study abroad programs enough to anybody that is going into college or looking into doing a study abroad program in college. Do it. It will change your life. Like, one way or another, you're going to find out some stuff about yourself and really grow as a person. So do it. Yeah. So that's how that kind of happened. It was just kind of like a, oh, whoops, here's this thing. Oh, I see a little bit. Lucy's second question is, what about the culture intrigues you? Okay, so there's a lot of answers to this. First answer is the language. If language is a part of culture, it is. The way Japanese functions really affects how the culture is, and I think it's beautiful. I love Japanese. I love the way you express yourself through Japanese. It's just absolutely wonderful. I love everything about, I think my biggest thing is the history of Japan. I am the biggest history nerd on the face of the planet. My father raised me a history nerd. My dad reads books about every historical event on the face of the planet. And I right up with that and right alongside. I really love being able to travel to different sites in Japan. While I was abroad 2 years ago in Japan, I was able to take a trip to Hiroshima, and that was a really beautiful experience to be able to really see, what people experienced, and to really see and feel that history. It's really incredible to go somewhere and really experience. It reminds you that history is real. That these aren't just things that you see in your textbooks. They're real things, and that's really something I'm passionate about, is going and experiencing those places, because it's really important to remember history, and it's really important to study and learn about it, because that's what helps us as a world grow. And so that is a passion of mine. More specifically on the culture side, because I guess history is part of culture, right? I don't know. And I love the food culture. I am a big foodie. The food culture to me is amazing. So that is like my biggest passion. I'm gonna lie. Third question is, are Americans easily accepted there? And that answer is difficult. It's not that Americans aren't accepted there. I think it's case by case on how you act there. I think a lot of the problem and a lot of the stereotypes that come with, the foreigner in Japan is the way people behave, and the way that it behaves and goes against Japanese culture. Every country has its own culture and its own way of how people function and how society as a whole moves, and America is very, very different from Japan in that aspect. For us, it's perfectly acceptable to talk on your phone and be on public transportation. It's perfectly fine to have loud conversations or to yell at someone across a field or across a room. That kind of the loudness of Americans. For us, it's very common, but when you go to Japan, you find that's not common. You can tell. You can hear a group of college exchange students a mile away. In Japan, that was a problem. Some of the exchange students would go out and get drunk out in the park, and neighbors would call the police because they're being loud and rowdy and they're trying to sleep. It's a neighborhood. You need to be respectful of that. And I think that for that type of issue along those lines of people riding the subway systems and talking on their phones or having music on really loud around other people, that's where it causes problems, and that's where people will feel uncomfortable or upset with foreigners being there. I mean, not like how dare you be here, but like being uncomfortable in the vicinity. So I think really if you're smart and you're respectful of how another country functions, then yeah, Americans are people are wonderful. I think some of the best experiences I ever have is when I go into a Starbucks in Japan. I order something and right off the bat I open my mouth and I start ordering in Japanese, and then they just want to know everything. Like the baristas, what? You tell me everything. What are you doing here? You speak Japanese? I want to know your entire life story. And I love that. And people get really excited, I think, when you take the time to learn their language and to communicate in that language, especially in a place like Japan, where I think it's really stereotypical for foreigners to come and not speak the language and then be really boisterous and rowdy. I mean, Americans, And to us in America, that's totally normal, and you wouldn't think of that as like a thing that's wrong, but like in a place like Japan, that's not really okay. That loudness and that boisterousness, that's not okay. And so, yeah, if you're a smart traveler and you're a kind and respectful traveler, absolutely, it's not like people just like instantly are just like reject. No, not at all. yeah, you know, people anywhere in the world, you know, if you respect them, they respect you. You know, treat everyone as you want to be treated, kind of thing, you know. Can I say you know enough? I feel like I keep saying it. But yeah, you know, in general, if, you know, you're just, you know, American living in Japan, or if you're traveling there and, you know, unless you're like, yo, what's up, dude, across like the subway or something, which, you know, there's not gonna be a problem. No one's gonna be like, oh. You know, if you're just like, yo, like yelling and stuff, then people are gonna be like, but other than that, no, not at all. It's totally, yeah, you know, I feel wonderfully comfortable there. I'm just so happy in Japan, and there's no problem with being an American there. My next question is from Sarah Pomegranate. Hello, Sarah. And Sarah asks, she says, I'm curious about your training and the educational principles you are expected to support. So, in regards to that, I will actually be having an orientation in Tokyo before I am sent off to my town. And that's when I think we're going to be really having the lowdown of, here's what's going on, here's what you do, this is who you are and what you are. And then it also, from that point on, is case by case. So it depends on what the English teachers at my school would like me to be and like me to do. You know, some teachers want you to help them make lessons plans and be far more like hands-on involved in the class. Others want you to like stand there and hold up bingo cards, you know. It really depends. So honestly, I don't know yet because I haven't met with and spoken to the teachers that I'm going to be working with, and it's going to depend on what they want. And that's totally fine by me. I'm happy to be there and be whatever support I can be for the teachers. And so yeah, the orientation in Tokyo, I think, is where really we're going to find out all of that, and I'm really looking forward to it. So that will be exciting. I will keep you posted. Victoria Roses has a couple of questions. Her first one is, when did you start learning Japanese? Technically, I started learning Japanese when I was 15, 16, when I knew that I was going to study in Japan. When I knew that I was studying to go to Japan for 6 weeks, I picked up a book and I started trying to teach myself Japanese, but it was nothing. It wasn't, I didn't know how to pronounce any of the things, any of that kind of thing. I really started studying Japanese when I was 16 in Japan at that language school. That was my first real experience in studying it, and then I wasn't able to study it again until college, and then I spent all 4 years following it, studying it. Our second question is, what are you expected to do specifically when I'm in Japan? And so that goes back to the answer for Sarah Pomegranate's question, which is, again, that's case by case, and it depends. But in general, I am in school Monday through Friday as an assistant teacher. I'm there to be the assistant to the English teachers in whatever form and fashion they want me to be. So you really have to be flexible and open with anything that they want from you, and I think it's really fun and exciting that, you know, every teacher's different, and I'm not working with just one teacher. Every school has several teachers, and I'll be whatever they'd like, and it's gonna be really fun, and I'm excited to find out. Question, which is a very good one. So where will you be staying in Japan, both town and living arrangements? Okay, so I did find this out recently, and I'm over the moon about it, so this is probably gonna be a tangent. I apologize. So I am going to be living in a town called Kashima in the Saga Prefecture, which is down in Kyushu. For perspective, there's like Honshu, which is the main island, and Kyushu, and then like way down is Okinawa. So Kyushu is like the southernmost point of like main Japan. So like Hokkaido is all the way up, and then Japan, and then Kyushu, then Okinawa down there. And which means I'm on the same latitude as the Carolinas, to give you like an idea of, you know, if that helps in any way. It's tropical. It's basically the zone where all of the typhoons hit. But don't worry, Japan is wonderfully built and protected for typhoons. They deal with it every year. It's just like living in Florida. Which I didn't do when I was a little kid, so I used to sleep through hurricanes, so I'm not worried about the typhoons. Yeah, and it's actually an ocean town, so it's directly on the ocean. It's beautiful. It's a lovely little place, and it's an hour train ride from Fukuoka, which is it is right near. It's a 1 hour train ride from Fukuoka, which is one of the major cities in Japan, like Tokyo and Osaka. So I'm quite excited. I said Osaka really weird, y'all. So that's very exciting, and there's tons of amazing, wonderful things to do and see in the town, which I am certain to show y'all. And I'm really excited. And my living arrangements, I have a really lovely little 3-room apartment. And when I say 3-room, I don't like mean 3 bedrooms. I mean 3 rooms. There's a kitchen, there's a living room, there's a bedroom. That's it. I mean, there's like a bathroom, but that doesn't really count. And it is adorable. I am so excited about it. I have some seriously big decoration plans happening. And I've got themes already. You best be ready for this. And so it's really cute. It's a sweet little apartment. It's perfect size for me, and I am over the moon about it. I'm definitely going to do some room tours when I get there. So yes, I'm gonna be bombarding y'all with why am I saying y'all? Have I been saying y'all this whole time? What even am I? So I'm definitely gonna be showing you guys lots of that. I'm very, very excited, and it's great, and it's actually just a 10-minute bike ride from my school. 4th question is, how long will I be there? That is up in the air. So my plans are to be there for about 3 years. It's a 1-year renewing contract. So I get to say, for the first 3 years, I can say, yes, I'd like to remain for another year, or no, I would not like to remain for another year. And then after the 3 years, there's a possibility of a 4th and a 5th year, but those years are up to the Board of Education, whether they really like you or they really don't like you. So that's where that comes in. So I would like to take a full advantage of the first 3 years at least. I mean, it would be pretty sweet if I could say a 4th or 5th year, but again, that's out of my hands. That's up to my Board of Education. So my plan is 3 years, hopefully. So Katie Jane 82 has a couple of questions. Her first question is, do you have a top 5 things people should experience when they visit Japan? Oh yeah. Alright, so let's think about this. Top 5 things to do when you visit Japan. Number 1, visit a temple. Temples in Japan are beautiful, and they are all over the place, and every one is different and incredible. The Inari Jinja in Kyoto is probably my favorite of all time, so anywhere, if you can, go to the Inari Jinja in Kyoto. It is just beautiful. It's just mind-blowing, just incredible. But any temple, while you're in Japan, please, please, please go see a temple. They're just a beautiful, beautiful architecture and a wonderful experience, and I cannot recommend it enough, especially if there's a festival going on. There are lots of festivals all over the year at temples. The really big one is New Year's. So at midnight at New Year's, there's a big festival at all of the temples, and it's just fun and incredible and just an amazing experience. So please, please, please check out a temple. Number 2 on my top 5 things to do in Japan. I'm going to introduce you to a word. This word is kaiten sushi. Kaiten sushi. Kaiten sushi means rotating sushi bar. Alright? Now I want you to get your head around this. It's real exciting. Rotating sushi bar. So it is a restaurant where you sit down at a table and there's like this thing that's going all over the restaurant. And there's little plates of sushi and they're going all around. And they all have different colored plates. Different colored plates indicate the price. And it's super affordable. Most things are around 100 yen, which is approximately $1. And you can also order food from a little touchscreen, and a little train will carry along your order for you. That is one of the coolest experiences if you're looking for something cheap to eat that's also super staple in Japan. Kaiten sushi, they're the best. I absolutely love them. In Hirakatashi, where I live, we had a store called Kappazushi, and it was just I loved it. So please go check out at Kaiten Sushi. Number 3 on my top 5 things to do when you're in Japan: go to a baseball game. I cannot emphasize this enough. Baseball tickets are super easy to get. You can order them at any convenience store you go to. And they are just the funnest experience you will ever have. Like, you think you know baseball, Americans? No, you don't know baseball. You don't. You've never been to Japan. Japanese baseball is so fun. The entire game is so interactive. The crowd is just as active in the game as the players are. There's chants and songs for every different player when they come up to bat. There's all of this music, there's crazy, there's all this. It's just the most awesome experience you will ever have. And you just can't even, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just amazing. Whether you're an actual baseball fan or not, which I'm super obsessed with baseball, so for me it's like the dream. Or if you're just like casually like, yeah, sports. Please go to a baseball game in Japan. It is amazing and it's just an experience you will not have anywhere else. Number 4 on my top 5 things you should do when you're in Japan. You should go to a cat cafe. Cat cafes are so cool, and I think they're starting to come over here to North America as well. So basically what you do is you go to a cat cafe and you pay a fee. And most places, every place is different, but normally you can get a drink and you can buy some cat treats and you get to snuggle with lots of little kitties. They're so cute and they're so well taken care of. The caretakers are just the kindest people and they know the cats. It's hilarious. And they're just, oh, it's the funnest thing you will ever do. Normally you get an hour with the cats and you just get to hang out and you get to play toys with them. It's really relaxing if you're having a stressed day or if you just really miss the company of pets. They're really popular in Japan because most apartment complexes do not actually allow for animals. And so people's only real interaction with animals is at these kind of cafes. And it's so cool and it's so fun. And I love cat cafes. I'm a huge cat person. I have a cat whose name is Cat, by the way. Weird facts about me. And you know, so I get super cat deprived. I really love the company of cat. They're so relaxing for me. And so for me, cat cafes are just wonderful. And I think it's a really cool experience. If you've never had that kind of opportunity before, please go check out a cat cafe. They are so cool. Number 5 on my top 5 things to do in Japan. This one is kind of silly. And I know this hasn't been like a super like amazing. I feel like I could have done better, but like these are like top 5 things for me personally in Japan, and you know, I don't think this is what everybody would be like, oh, these are my top 5 things. My 5th thing is to go to USJ. USJ is amazing. USJ is Universal Studios Japan. It is in Osaka and it is the best experience you will ever have in your life. Like if you like theme parks, please go to USJ. It was the funnest thing I've ever done, and they have the one Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Oh my goodness, just great. It's just great. It just, oh, so much fun. Please go. It is just incredible. And so I suppose those were some pretty weird top 5 things, but for someone like me who spent a long time there, I kind of got tired of doing touristy things and I got more into just like, you know, if I was just living there and doing life, that's what I wanted to do. So that's what you should go do. My recommendations. She also asks, are there any food/products that you have missed that are readily available in Japan but not at home and are on the other side? Are there foods and products in the US that you will miss that are hard to find in Japan? Yes and yes. Okay, so I live for eating. Like, I live for eating. I like food like a lot. So, yes and yes. As for things that I miss here that are readily available in Japan, rice balls, onigiri. I live for 7-Eleven's onigiri. It is my life. It is my soul. Particularly the tuna mayo onigiri. It's just a go. And if you don't know what onigiri are, they're rice balls. So it's like a triangle shape of rice, and there's usually something inside. One of the most popular insides is umeboshi, which is pickled plum. But my favorite is tuna mayo because I love tuna and I love mayo. So they're just, it really frustrates me that I can't walk into a convenience store and just get like 10 of them and just eat them like shamelessly. So that's really hard for me. The other food dish that I can't really deal without is called katsudon. And so it's basically like fried pork on top of rice with egg and soy sauce, and it's just the greatest comfort food you'll ever experience in your life, in my humble opinion. I miss it so badly. I miss it all the time. Like I literally, no joke, I am not exaggerating in any way, shape, or form. You can ask any one of my friends. Every single day when we went to the cafeteria at Kansai Gaide, I got katsudon. Every day. Never got sick of it, never will. Get home and do that. And then on a very weird scale, something I super miss that's rarely available in Japan is a thing called mirin, which is a type of like rice wine thing, cooking sauce. Is that, yeah. But this thing, specifically mirin, just cannot find anywhere. I cannot find it anywhere, and I miss it so much because I used it in all of my cooking. I am huge into cooking. I super love cooking, and I don't have it here, and I'm just like, why you do this? Why you do this? As for things that are readily available in America that I will miss and have a difficult time finding in Japan, macaroni and cheese. There is not macaroni and cheese, and Mama loves her Kraft macaroni and cheese, so Mom, you hear this? Send me some Kraft. Yeah, macaroni and cheese. The other thing, and this is available, but it's super expensive, is peanut butter. Peanut butter is like a luxury for me in Japan because that stuff is crazy expensive. I mean, it makes sense. They're importing it. Like, they're importing Jif. So, like, if I was, like, desperate, I would buy a jar of peanut butter and, like, a banana, and I would just eat it all at once. It would just be this one mass of, like, peanut butter. So, which is, like, the weirdest, like, and you wouldn't think that that's, like, a big deal, but you don't realize how big a part something like that is of your diet until you're there for a long period of time, and you're just like, bro, I need peanut butter so badly, and everything needs to stop because peanut butter needs to happen right now, and then you spend like whatever, $8 or $5 or whatever on like this big thing of peanut butter. You know, you can get like this thing of Jif for like less than that. You can get this for a couple dollars, $5 for this little, what's that gonna get me, one banana? So yes, that is all of the questions you guys had for me. Thank you so much for asking them. I love all of the support you've been giving me on Instagram. It means so much to me. I'm so excited. So I hope this answered all your questions. If you guys have any more questions for me, please feel free to message me on Instagram, either a comment or you can direct message me. I do not bite, I promise. And I'd be more than happy to answer them because I super love sharing anything I can about my passion for Japan so that hopefully more people can learn and fall in love with it too. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye!